guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to have a let's talk about it, and today I'm going to bring on one of my sorors. She's my sorority sister. She's actually an educator, middle school teacher, so she's going to be answering some questions from her perspective as an educator, and of course I'll be here from a parent perspective, dealing with school is opening back up, yes, during COVID-19. So first, Dominique, tell a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Dominique Marie. I am a graduate of the Howard University. I earned my bachelor's in science there, in biology with a minor in chemistry. I have a master's degree in microbiology. I also hold a master's degree in education, and I am currently teaching 5th grade, which is housed here at the middle school. And I previously taught AP chemistry and 3rd, 4th, and now 5th grade.
All right. So, as an educator, you know schools are opening back up, and we're currently here in South Korea, so I know things are different there in the States, but schools are still opening up in different states. But here in South Korea, the schools are opening up in August. So, right off the bat, how do you feel as an educator about the schools are opening?
I'm not a parent, so this is not going to come from a parent perspective, but my students are my kids, and I'm not comfortable with schools opening, especially in the United States, just given the different dynamics of free will and First Amendment rights that are going on with wearing a mask and the social distancing that's not happening in the States. Not comfortable with it at all. As far as here in Korea, I'm more comfortable because of the things that we've done to kind of mitigate the virus and the spread of the virus and such. But I will potentially have 29 students in my classroom, and to keep them properly socially distant, it's not going to happen. So,
Yeah. So, with the struggle with that, I know usually you have around, 32? So having to space out your furniture to accommodate the whole procedures with COVID-19, do you feel like that's going to be a major struggle for you?
It definitely is. So we shut down on sometime in February, and we went virtually as of February 27th. And at the end of the school year, we invited students to come in for field day, and I had 17 students in my class. And with the 17 students, it was a struggle to have them properly distant. And of course, it wasn't 6 feet apart. It was more like 3. I also don't have desks in my class. I have tables. So trying to maneuver those tables to where they'll have space to do their work, etc. But even with 17, it was not possible.
Yeah. So what measures, since you have tables, what measures are you going to take to kind of separate children?
One, I'm going to use all the tables. So I have regular rectangular tables, but then I have those cute little tables that go into different types of polygons. So for the regular tables, I have 3 of those. I'll sit 2 students at each table. I'm going to have to take my carpet out of the classroom. Students are going to be facing the wall as well as the window. There will be no space to meet for small groups. And hopefully, Dodea has said that they are going to provide these barriers. So hopefully we get those in time, because if we do, then I can have more than one student at a little, it's not really a triangle, but the little triangular shaped table.
Yeah.
So that'll give me more room to play with in the classroom. But
yeah. So it's going to be tough, but I'm pretty sure you'll do it. So, so do you feel, with the schools opening back up, do you feel this puts you and your children at a greater risk?
I do. So your mom say, I trust you, I don't trust everybody else. So it's one of those situations. I can't speak for all parents or individuals that we service at our school as far as them wearing their mask, not going to places that they're not supposed to be going to. Are they washing their hands? Have they been exposed? Have they been to a place where there is high exposure here, for example, the Seoul area, and just not have told us. Luckily in 5th grade we are self-enclosed. They go to specials once a day and then they go to lunch. But if I was a regular middle school teacher, I'd have, let's just say, 20 kids in my classroom, and we have 4 blocks a day. So I'm exposed to 20 kids, and then when those 20 kids leave, they're walking in the hallways, and then they go to another class of 20, and then another class of 20, and then lunch, and then another class of 20. So it's just kind of like, if we don't take proper measures and there is someone who is asymptomatic, then there's so many people that are going to need to be quarantined and tested, and we have over 1,000 kids at our school.
Right. And you know, as a parent, it's going to take us working with the teacher as well, because like she said, you know, especially if we're out on the weekends or something and we're going to different places, you're making the risk even greater because you're going to send your kids back to school. So I totally get how you feel when you feel like this is definitely a greater risk for you and the children. So that's very tough. So speaking about virtual learning, because currently the schools here are offering 2 options, of course, and just like other places. How do you feel when parents say virtual learning is not good enough for them? They want their child to go into a physical school and sit down with the teacher.
So we have the 2 options. We have the virtual learning, and if the parents sign the students up for that, they have to commit for a full semester. They're considered to be in a different district. Even if they're here within Korea, they would be coupled with all of the Dodea schools, students who have chosen to go virtual. And then we have the physical brick and mortar building, and if something pops off, then we go to remote learning. I think that parents really need to make a decision based on what is going to be best for their child. I know if their child has special needs, they have special needs teachers that are going to be a part of this virtual learning, and then they just have to make sure that they're signing on with those teachers. My partner for special needs is awesome. He worked with my kids that had a plan, and he worked with my kids that didn't have a plan. He was available from 8 to 3:30, and he was just awesome. Like, what are you doing, Miss Roberts, with this, with this, with this? Okay, this is what I'm going to do here. So I do think that the teachers are committed, that are going to be, we actually have to apply to teach virtually, and then they look at all of our stuff and like, if we are qualified to do this. So the teachers that they are selecting are going to be qualified to teach virtually. The curriculum is going to be the same, but it's going to be steady. I think that if parents really think about the needs of their child and how much time they as a parent are willing to put into it, I think that it'll be fine.
It's interesting that you said that teachers have to apply, because it felt like when everything started to pop off, you had all teachers that were virtual. You know, they just dived in and took it day by day. So that's good that things have changed and different routes of different teachers are a better fit for virtual versus brick and mortar. So with that being said, do you feel like maybe the first half of the school year virtual should have been implemented first and then kind of ease our way back into?
So my master plan was do a hybrid experience where, like, if your last name is A to L, then you go to school on Mondays and Wednesdays, and if your last name is K to Z, you know what I meant.
Yeah.
Then you go to school on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Friday everybody is remote. I think that just having that as an option to keep the numbers down in the physical school would be better than just saying, oh, if you want to do virtual, do virtual. If you want to do physical, because we're not really sure how many parents are going to sign up.
Right. And we're just not sure on how many parents who have resources to even do that. You know, some parents are single, or whatever the situation may be, the only option for them is to send their kids to the actual schoolhouse. So
yeah. And some parents may choose that because of the dynamics of their household, but their child really would benefit from staying out of school because of health reasons.
Right.
So, parents are going to be making decisions based on, not only what's best for the child, but what's going to benefit them. Working here in Korea at international schools, the school that I previously taught at, they gave the option for kids to come back to school, but they had the barriers there. And if they didn't, then, the teachers were online. But those kids had to be online from the start of the school day until the end of the school day. So that was a lot compared to what we had, which was 2 to 3 hours a day, depending on your grade level.
That's right. So just to throw it in a little bit, we have to wear masks wherever. It's going to be a challenge for not only the adults that have them on all day in school, children, they have to have their mask on all day except for outside, right? You think that's going to be a challenge?
I think that's definitely going to be a challenge. I'm in the middle school, so they're a little bit more responsible than elementary school students. But like for the little babies, like they're not really going to understand why they have to keep this on their face. So hopefully parents are like kind of prepping them right now, putting it on. But it is one of the things that we've stated is that as long as you can be apart, then you don't have to wear your mask. So when I had those 17 kids in my class, they had their mask at the ready, and for me, that's just putting it on your chin. And then I had little squirt stations around the classroom where they can, like, I say, squirt your hands with hand sanitizer. And if they had to go visit a friend, they put their mask on, they squirted their hands, and then they said what they had to say, and they immediately went back. But it's a struggle. Like, I feel bad for the people that work at the PX and commentary that wear those masks all day because glasses and masks,
right?
And it's hot,
right?
And like it's not comfortable. But we do what's best for the kids,
right? And touching on that, the measures are going to have to be heightened, in school. So do you feel that that's going to take away a bit from the learning because you have to constantly think about those measures of they have to wash their hands after everything and make sure they have their mask. So how do you feel about that?
It's definitely going to take time out of our day, especially if you are in a single subject classroom where the kids have to transition, because then they're transitioning from another class. They have to come in, sanitize. Before they leave, they have to wipe down their, surfaces and then sanitize and leave. So teachers are going to have to be creative and really be on board with making sure that kids do it. So if that means that I would usually teach 50 minutes of the 60 minutes and have like a fun activity for 10 minutes, okay, now I have to dial it back some and know that it's going to take them at least 10 minutes to process in and out of my classroom. And for me as homeroom teacher of little people who need breaks and need to get up and transition and move, I'm really excited about the challenge of figuring out how I can still play games and do small groups with my kids.
Yeah, because you have to be real creative. So, more power to you, girl. All right, so just to bring it back to virtual learning, let's just put it out there. We know there are some students who parents don't have the finances to even get certain things like computer or whatever that's needed for virtual learning, right? And also, some students are in environments that may not be a good environment. Or, the socioeconomic status is just not for them, and the environment's just not good for virtual learning for that child. So how do you feel about that?
So, like I said, I'm not a parent, but my students are my kids. And I do recognize that all households are not happy households. I recognize that some kids come to school and enjoy coming to school because it is an escape. I recognize that some students only get the meals that are provided at the school. So those are major concerns for me. It's a safety concern for me. It's a nutrition concern for me. It's an emotional, mental concern for me. Some parents, may be working on, the way that they respond to their child.
Absolutely.
And now they are with them all day, which makes it a little more difficult to respond to them in a positive way. And it's not, of course, not all parents, but that is a concern for me. Like you look at like some of the college students that are out there, this is the only time that some of them have housing.
Right.
And then they are going from place to place over the summer. It's really disrupting life, and all I can do is pray.
Yeah, it's very sad, but those are the things that we do have to think about, especially some of them that, they have to watch for their little siblings. Yeah, it's just so heartbreaking, but this whole thing that's happening is a kind of a new way, or a new way of life, of living, and we're trying to figure it out. So this whole thing, I see a lot on social media with the whole parents are in an uproar about the whole school situation, and educators voicing their opinions, and they have the right. So that was my whole premise of, one, I'm a parent myself, and I get both sides. They both have valid points. But we're at a point where we're kind of at a crossroads, and we got to kind of figure it out as we go, see what works and see what does not work. I feel like there's no side that's greater or better than the other. We're all trying to figure out as parents, educators, and ultimately continue the education for our children. So thank you so much for your perspective on it, because I love to see this side of educators and seeing what they have to say, even though they may be against us parents sending our kids back to school. But yeah, it was great to hear that. So thank you so much for being here with me, Dominique.
And thank you for the opportunity to share my perspective.
No problem, girl.